It's not news and it's not surprising that whenever you think of college, you think of like universities and you think of the big schools and you think that the 4 or 5 years that you're going to be away from your parents' home, or you're going to be away from home, whatever that happens to be. In the United States, at least, right? People tend to go away. And so you don't really think about a community college per se. And I actually did make a video on the pros of community college a long time ago, but I'm going to put it in the description here. But first, before you go there, I want you to understand the cons of community college, because I want to be objective, and I'm someone that looks at both sides of the aisle, and I do understand that there are drawbacks to being in a community college. And the biggest drawback, I will get to that in a second, but first, if you are new to the channel, welcome. My name is Alex Isidro, and here I talk about engineering career and life analysis. And if you find this video useful or valuable in any way, just make sure you drop me a like right now before you forget, and consider subscribing to the channel. Now, the first thing I want to mention is that, when you are in your late teens, when you're like 17, 18, or even sometimes like maybe 20 years old, and you're thinking about going to college, right? University, you don't care about money. You should, but you don't care as much as someone that is a little bit older, a little bit more mature, a little bit wiser, right? Like, you don't care whether or not you're gonna get into debt. You just want to go and live it up and like party with your friends and stay with all the cool kids, in quotes per se. Generally speaking, not everyone, of course, but generally speaking, actually I was not one of them, but I did meet a lot of people who actually regretted going to a 4-year university because it got really expensive, and them not going to a community college first. But that's not the point of this video. Here I'm not talking about the pros of community college, but I want to talk about the drawbacks and what happens. What do you miss out on? Like, what's something that just makes community college not too appealing? So there's 3 major drawbacks that I've identified when it comes to attending a community college. I mean, the first one is that you don't get to have the full college experience per se, like at the full scale level, right? Like, and I'm talking about attending like big football games or sports basketball games, or perhaps like being part of societies, like those big engineering societies per se, or let's say like get together. So like maybe you want to be part of a frat or a sorority, and so there's none of that in a community college, and you basically arrive in your 3rd year, and so you miss out on a lot of that. You miss out on the pre-games, the parties, the post-games when it comes to football. I love football, and I really love all the pre-games that I attended when I was in Virginia Tech, but I enjoyed that when I was a junior and senior, and I really like that. I really like that a lot. So you basically have no campus life. Like, you don't live on campus, and who knows, it's also a little hard to make friends when you transfer from another school and you haven't been in university for the first 2 years, and you transfer as a 3rd-year student. It can be a little more difficult to make friends, since most people, I want to say, get to know each other when they are freshmen and university, and a lot of times they live together, they party together, so they start making that connection and they start creating those bonds and forging the relationships at 18 years old per se, generally speaking, as opposed to 21 or 22 whenever you happen to transfer to the university. The second drawback that I've noticed, or that I've identified, is that when you're in a community college, you're basically on your own. Like, all the friends that you have, they're very transient. You don't really have a solid group of friends as you would when you are in college or university per se. When you're in a community college, most people, or this is in my experience, that most people work, or most people got things going on. And because when you go to a community college, you go there because it's cheaper, right? And if you go there because it's cheaper, that means that you don't have the money, or generally speaking, you don't have the money to afford a 4-year school, or you don't want to get into debt. And so you are working, you're making as much money as possible to pay all that on your own, so that way you don't get into too much debt. And so what happens then with the lifestyle of students is that they're on their own, like they're always like on their own schedule. They go to class, they do homework for like an hour or 2, and then they go to work. Sometimes they come back and take another class, and then they have to go home and study and do the homework for the next day, repeat. And so you are on your own. Like, you really don't have a solid group of friends, okay? And unless your friends from high school go with you to the same community college, but then at that point, they are your friends from high school and not really from community college, And then The third drawback that I've identified, community college don't always offer specific programs. Like for example, in my community college, when I went here in Northern Virginia, I want to say that they did not offer, let's say, specific programs like aerospace engineering or let's say ocean engineering. And so as a mechanical engineering student, even like I couldn't major in something. I couldn't major in mechanical engineering community college. The only thing they offered was computer engineering and computer science. Other than that, you had to graduate from the community college with a general engineering degree. And then once you transfer to your 4-year regular university, then you can pinpoint and actually select mechanical engineering as your major. So this is going to be a little tricky depending on your community college, depending on the type of university that you want to get into. So if you are planning on attending a community college and you're planning on transferring, then make sure that the courses that you are taking actually are going to transfer. Make sure that you can take full advantage of the community college. Sometimes maybe your community college may offer aerospace engineering, and that way you can transfer as many courses as possible, so that way you get the most bang for your buck. So make sure you mix and match your classes whenever you go to community college and you're planning on transferring. So hey guys, those are all the main things I want to say, but these are things that I could live without, you know, unless you really just always been thinking about going to university just to party and live it up and just having the lifestyle. Then if you are wise with your money and then you're thinking about your education and that's your goal, if your goal is to get a degree that is going to serve you well in the long run, then a community college is still the way to go in my opinion, because then you catch up. You know, it's only going to be 2 years that you're basically sacrificing quotes. And then after that, you go and enjoy your junior year and your senior year. You're going to be a lot busier per se. It's going to be a lot more work once you transfer to a bigger school, a bigger university, because at that point, you're not really expected to work because they give you a lot of work, right? But I want to say that it worked out for me. Now, do I wish I would have gone all 4 years to university? I don't know. I think I was okay working the first 2 years and then making money. And then the last 2 years, I went out there to Virginia Tech. And then I enjoyed my time there. It was pretty cool. I did party, obviously. I did make friends and stuff. And so, yeah, I mean, it's going to be up to you ultimately what you want to do with your life, the type of choices that you make now, obviously going to affect in the long run in one way or another. And so I just wanted to bring that up to your attention just so that I show to you what are the weaknesses or drawbacks from attending a community college. Because again, I did make a video outlining the positive sides of community colleges as well. So if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. If you like the content of this video, if you find it useful in any way, make sure you drop me a like, consider subscribing to the channel, and make sure you also share this video with whomever you think can also benefit. All right, guys, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Peace.